Do you think Monster Hunter would have been better off turned into an anime series? I mean, it's easy to say yes now because the film was apparently terrible.
Well, the
but
film sucked.
Welcome back to your save point. So grab a drink, get comfortable, and let's continue on this side quest. In part 2 of my chat with Grim Saber, we're diving headfirst into RPG party building chaos, some animated game crossovers, and the absolute curse dream of a full-scale Pokemon MMO that would probably end civilization as we know it. Expect some spicy takes, some questionable logic, and just enough Digimon nostalgia to summon your inner 2004. So let's get back into it. Let's enjoy this side quest.
But yeah, so speaking of RPGs, kept only thinking of Final Fantasy. There's another big series that has come into another resurgence of popularity, being Persona games.
Oh, yeah.
Very heavily, I don't know if they're like anime based, but just the art style again, it's very...
Takes us back to that conversation, doesn't it? Yeah, definitely anime styled.
Why do you think, especially with the amount of games there are now, the amount of studios developing RPGs, there is no shortage of RPG games. But why do you think that all these Japanese style RPGs like Dragon Quest, like Persona, and like you said, the resurgence of the Saga series, the Mana series that have these distinct anime styled art are really popular at the moment?
Honestly, I'm not sure, but I do wonder if it's less about the style and more just about the fact that the Japanese and maybe are just very good at making RPG games.
Yeah,
because it's not like we don't get Western RPGs. We do, and we've had a few in like a traditional JRPG style. Like, do you remember a game called Battle Chasers Night War?
I do not.
No, so that was an RPG game, and it had a very traditional kind of style. It was like turn-based and everything like that. But yeah, I think I don't know. I think maybe I do think maybe it's less about the style, more it's just that they're just very good at making those kinds of games, and they just always seem to do really well. Persona's a great example, but I think that's when we start looking at the unique systems that are in place in the game. That's what's most attractive about them, I think, because Persona's got a completely different, overall game mechanic to your regular RPGs, and I think that's why Persona stands out so much. I don't have a massive amount of experience with Persona. I've only really played Persona 4 Golden a lot, and I'm still haven't played 5, which I know is criminal. But
well, I've actually started with 3, which is available on Game Pass.
Yeah, I heard 3 is really good too.
But yeah, like you said, it's not there's a lack of RPGs at the moment. Like the big ones at the moment, you got Kingdom Come Deliverance. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 has just come out. That I think, like, it's not even Western style, but you got the Dragon's Dogma game too. Dragon's Dogma 2 game. There's a new one coming out that's been developed by a French developer called Expedition 33. That releases later this month, might be April 20th.
I'll have to look into that one. I don't know about that one.
It's got a couple of really big name voice actors, some of them from Final Fantasy games, some of them from Baldur's Gate 3.
Nice.
And it is turn-based, which is
very that intrigues me.
RPGs at the moment.
You've caught my attention with that. But you saying Dragon's Dogma, isn't that Capcom though? Which is already that's already Japanese then, isn't it?
Yeah, and Dragon Age. But again,
Dragon Age, or is that what I'm thinking of?
Yeah, Dragon Age is BioWare.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, so Dragon Age 1 and 2, 3 have been, or Dragon Age 1, 2, and Inquisition been heavily, heavily praised, and Veilguard seems to have just come and gone.
So you'll have to give me some knowledge here, man, because you definitely have some more knowledge than I do, but is Veilguard a different type of game, like a different style, or is it just a sequel?
It's just a sequel.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like a completely different style of game for some reason.
I just know a lot of the narrative writers have left BioWare since the first 3 games have gone. And I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I haven't played Inquisition, so I haven't started Veilguard. I have Veilguard. I just haven't played it yet. A lot of Western games, it's not that we don't have the ability to produce them. Just look at Baldur's Gate 3. Phenomenal game. I can't say
phenomenal.
Phenomenal story, and there's quite a lot of narrative-driven games. I think not the problem. There is a lot of crossover now between action, adventure, and RPGs and action RPGs.
Yeah.
People tend to be, unless it is designed specifically for a cooperative-based game,
Yeah.
or an online game, if something is single player, it feels like these days it tends to go towards a single character. Like even with Final Fantasy 16, I know it's a Japanese game, but you only played as Clive.
Yeah.
Yes, you had a party, but you didn't directly control them.
Yeah, and that's probably due to that, that new action-based combat system.
But they did it in 7.
Oh, with Rebirth.
The remake.
I still haven't played them. I've got it sitting there waiting.
Oh dear.
I don't have as much time for games as I used to.
I mean, I still haven't completed Rebirth. I'm 4 chapters away from the end. But it is very strange that we are moving away from party-based games, but the ones that are hitting it big are hitting it out the park.
Yeah.
So there's obviously still the demand there.
Yeah.
I just don't know why they're not being made anymore.
I think
you couldn't get away from them when we were growing up. Granted, 95% of them were Squaresoft games.
Yeah.
But you couldn't escape a party-based RPG.
Yeah, that in that traditional turn-based style as well. I think some of it is just to do with, how times change, people's tastes change. I'll never forget. And I think a lot of it is because of how games have developed over the years as well. And we've seen so many like really standout, amazing action games and things like that. There's a lot of people in the younger generations who aren't familiar with your old turn-based styles or aren't a fan of them at all. I've spoken to a lot of people actually that just find turn-based games boring because either they haven't grown up with them or they are just used to more action-driven games, which is fine. It's just what you grow up with, right? It's just what you're used to. So it's not like I'm not going to sit here and say that they're wrong or they shouldn't feel that way. But I do think that we grew up with certain things and they've grown up with certain things. And I think that is a big influence on the games market itself because games are going to be developed for the people that are there to play them.
Yeah.
And as sad as it is, I'm not getting any younger.
So there's a couple of things that I've spoken to people recently and heard recently is that a lot of gamers now want that instant gratification. And
it's like that across the board. That's not even just in games, in media in general.
The game that was mentioned in this example was someone started playing The Witcher 3.
Right.
And that has a very slow start. And they'd left it for years and years and years and went back to play it. So I bought it, might as well give it another chance. And it's now one of their favorite games of all time. But because it didn't have the, right, I'm playing, boom, give me something to do.
Yeah.
It just didn't grab their attention quick enough for them to play it straight away.
Yeah. The sad truth of the world we live in now is that everybody needs an instant dopamine hit to feel focused. Otherwise, we just move on to the next thing. And I think we're all guilty of it now. I think there's many reasons why. I won't get into that, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the way the world is now.
And when it comes to starting games, studio don't develop their games with a traditional tutorial. Outward had a separate tutorial in the menu before you even start the game. It's like literally just like it'd be the equivalent of having Super Mario World 1 Level 1 as its own individual level that run up here, now press jump. This is a question mark block, blah 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 blah, before then you start the game. He said when they were developing it, the reason they did that was because they have targeted gamers that have been playing games. They haven't targeted the mass. They've been targeting gamers our age that sort of don't want their intelligence insulted by use the left stick to move around, use the right stick to move your camera.
Yeah, it's probably true.
And
yeah.
It's just a different world. And the way he
I think
described
you
it.
touched on it earlier when you said how popular things are now, not just anime and manga, but games in general are so much more popular than they were when we were growing up.
Good old days. No
Back in the day.
microtransactions, no DLC. You had to
I'll
unlock
always be mad about
cosmetics
that.
by beating the game.
I'll always be mad about that change, yeah.
It also helps people like us who don't have the time to invest into the games like we used to.
Yeah.
Man, you imagine if they did that in Pokemon. Oh, your first 4 gym badges.
Hey man, I wouldn't put it past it in like another 20 years or something. Don't give them
Yeah.
ideas for sure, man.
No. But yeah, so obviously Pokemon has evolved. You've gone from a 2D pixel world to a more open world. Some of it has gone instance, kind of like Legends Arceus, Gods, however you want to pronounce it, I don't care. To Scarlet and Violet, where it's a lot more open world with only a couple of instances. Do you think it would still be as popular now if they stayed with the old, obviously developed the art style, but stayed with the old 2D, 3D, like develop the 2D, 3D, like the Dragon Quest remakes and the Sudoku games have gone?
Yeah, Sudoku, yeah. I'll be honest with you, I don't think it would be as popular. I just don't think the old style would have been attractive enough to new children at the time they needed games to be popular. I think you could say that there's a lot of teenagers now or young adults they didn't grow up with the same games we did, but there's a lot of teenagers and young adults now that are still now getting into the old original games. But I think they're doing that now more out of like a curiosity than something that they would have chosen if it came out when they were a child. And I think that's the important distinction to make, is that, you know, they have to develop games that are attractive to the current children. And I think the style of like Red and Blue back in the day would just not have cut it.
A lot of the gameplay that's been shown of the new Legends game that's coming out towards the end of the year, it does look really good.
Yeah.
Especially moving to it from what I've seen of it, it's still kind of turn-based, but moving to almost like an ATB style system.
All right. Yeah.
I am still so infuriated with all the remakes that they're doing. All the stuff that has been coming out, been put on Nintendo Switch Online.
Yeah.
Pokemon trading card games on Nintendo Switch Online, which, again, had a story, was a good RPG game. Why haven't they released the original 3? It's infuriating.
Good point, man. I have no idea.
It's just...
Maybe they're saving it for like a big anniversary or when they completely run out of ideas. It's their golden egg idea. And when it looks like the whole world's burning beneath them, they'll pull that out and be like, that's their like break fire in an emergency button.
Well, I joke about it a lot. The only reason they haven't made a proper Pokemon MMO is because the whole world would come to a stop. Like, if they had a fully fledged, like, you're in Pokemon World, you could be a trainer, a breeder, a gym leader,
Yeah.
safari, like, however you want to do it. The only reason they haven't done it is because everyone would quit their jobs. At least from our generation.
Would? You wouldn't see me again. Yeah, you wouldn't see me again. Especially if they had a lot of the OG characters in it. Like from the anime, such as Officer Jenny, Nurse Joy, mate, I'd be in my element.
Running around after them.
Yeah, I'd join him.
You'd never get that Pewter City gym badge. Not happening.
That would be such a cool game, though. I think there's a lot of logistic issues involved in trying to get something like that working. Because, like, I don't know how you'd manage who would be gym leaders and stuff. I guess they could do it on like a leaderboard system where, you know, the top players of a region are able to take like a gym exam or something and become a gym leader for X amount of time. That would be pretty dope. But
I think I'm not going to say it's technical constraints because it definitely could be done.
I think it could be now, yeah.
They also haven't released a game that has every region. Like, that is completely feasible. That you could just go and battle through every single region. And then when you get to a new region, you could Just do what Ash did, take one Pokemon with you and get a whole new one, start again.
Well, that's why I absolutely adored the original Gold and Silver. It was Gold and
Because you
Silver,
could go
did it?
back to the Kanto
Yeah.
region.
So you what was Gold and Silver? Johto?
Yeah, Johto and Kanto. Yeah.
Yeah, so Kanto was obviously the original, and then I
Yeah.
think Johto was Gold and Silver. But after
Yeah.
you completed that game, you could get on a boat and go back to Kanto and basically play another entire game. I remember my mind being blown when I discovered that playing the game. I was like, "Oh my god!" And I remember freaking out. I was like, "You get to go back to," and like you could just basically do the whole thing again. I thought it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I wish we could do that and just go to every
I
zone.
get why they didn't continue it moving forwards at that point, because they would have been limited by space
Yeah,
on the
huge
discs,
ordeal.
on the cartridges. But there is no reason, even if they went back to just doing it with the games that shared that art style up to Black and White, or even, I suppose, even to a stretch, Sun and Moon.
I would even be happy if they just did a big game, which was almost semi-open world in a similar style to something like the new Monster Hunter Wilds, where you just have massive explorable zones. They'd have to be bigger for Pokemon, but I'd even be happy if they did that and just had like Kanto, Johto, and Hoenn or something like that. If they even be happy if it was just 3, because they would take up hundreds and hundreds of hours anyway.
Well, speaking of Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I'm addicted.
Yeah, tell me. They tried. I say they tried. They attached the name to a movie.
God, with what's her face? I always forget her real name.
Mila Djokovic.
That's it. Yeah. Oh my god, that movie sucked, man. The only good thing about that movie was that the special effects budget was so high that they actually made the monsters look legit. Like the monsters looked gas. Rathalos looked like Rathalos. Diablos looked like Diablos. They looked cool as hell. But that film sucked, man. What was that? They made up some story out of nowhere.
That's between that and Final Fantasy media, with the exception, I would say, of Advent Children.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's not count Advent Children, because that was dope.
Like, why do they struggle to turn such a popular franchise into a film-based media? Spirits Within just wasn't the best.
What even was that? Can you even count that as a Final Fantasy anything?
It had crystals. It had a Sid.
Yeah, it's
I don't even know it had a Sid. I'm just making
That's
that
what
up.
it was. No, I thought about this question a lot, actually, because I always get frustrated when something.
I personally enjoyed Kingsglaive, but I know it wasn't looked on with great appeal.
I can't remember it that well, honestly. I don't remember hating it, but I can't remember it that well.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've thought about the question a lot, because I'm always frustrated when something I've been excited for to be adapted ends up flopping. And I see this across media as well, not just with games, but I see it when a manga that I've been waiting to be adapted into an anime ends up with like a really poor budget or just really poorly executed. Some examples of that lately would be, I'm not a massive fan of the Sakamoto Days adaptation. I think it's fine, but I really love the manga and I think it deserved a much better adaptation. But I think it just spans across media. So going back to video games, I think they struggle because I think there's too many people in the kitchen. There's too many heads in the kitchen all arguing over each other about the direction that certain things should go in. I think there's too much influence from producers and people that put money into the production. And I think even if you've got 1 or 2 people that know the franchise or the thing that's being adapted inside and out, I think there's too many external influences or people pressuring them to make changes where changes don't need to be made. But you try arguing with people that are putting the money into the production, you know? So I think that's all it is. I think that's what it comes down to, because I can't see how any true fan, like if you gave a true fan that knows something inside and out and you gave them all the money in the world to do exactly what they needed to do, I can't see how any true fan could get it wrong. But somehow we see it constantly. So that's the only thing I can assume, is that there's just too many people involved.
Yeah, they just need to give it to Yoshi P and Koji Fox and it'd be fine. But yeah, so do you think Monster Hunter would have been better off turned into an anime series? I mean, it's easy to say yes now because the film was apparently terrible.
Well, the film sucked. like with anything, I think with the right budget and the right idea, it could be adapted into an anime as good as your next one. If I had to pick, I'd pick a studio like Studio Kara or someone familiar with doing something at a kaiju level. I picked Kara because of Evangelion. So people that are used to drawing things on a massive scale, I think would be ideal. That being said, I don't know if there's enough interest in a story for Monster Hunter, because if I'm being real with you, and I've been playing Monster Hunter since the Freedom 2 days back on the PSP, and I've played every single game that's come out, and I've never really given
A monkey's
really
about the
cared much
story.
about the story.
Yeah.
They tried to make a big difference with Wilds by giving it more of a story-driven narrative, and they tried to put a lot more story into it, which was fine, and I did enjoy quite a few of the characters, but it still wasn't anything to write home about to the point where I'd think it was so exciting that they should make a Monster Hunter anime. I just don't think the story would be engaging enough. They'd have to come up with a whole thing, and then you start detracting from what Monster Hunter is, and at its core, it's just about teaming up with the homies and slaying some beasts.
I think they'd have to go down at least the initial start of the movie where the whole isekai thing being pulled in from one world. Like, you dump fucking Joe Blogs into the middle of a Monster Hunter world.
But I don't know though, because I feel like that was one of my biggest issues with the movie, is that this idea of people from like our world just being isekai'd into a Monster Hunter world was just too weird for me. There's no reason why they can't just start something in the Monster Hunter world with an already pre-established like governmental system and stuff, because obviously in Monster Hunter you've got the Hunters Guild who govern most things and the expeditions that they go on. You can just build a story around that, find a new location, you already exist in a world, there's already documentation of most monsters, just do that. But yeah, like my point before, I just don't think it would be I don't think it'd be interesting enough, honestly.
So I know we've touched on this question a bit today, so just pick two things, and we're just going to go vice versa.
Okay.
So pick a game to go to an anime, and an anime to go to a game. What do you think would work well?
Game into an anime. Have you played an indie game called Dredge?
I have not. I've heard of it.
All right. It's a really short but really addictive indie game where it's kind of like an eldritch horror like fishing game. You basically you're a fisher, you get on a boat, you can upgrade your boat, which is really cool. You can upgrade your ability to fish, but the concept is like the further out that you go and the later you stay out at night, you start to have a lot of weird experiences. You can end up fishing some really weird stuff, and there is a story to it where like eventually you uncover the mystery of like the islands and stuff like that. But I think something like that could make a really good like mystery psychological thriller as an anime. I would definitely mess with that. Yeah, that'd be. I don't know how that suddenly came to me. I haven't played Dredge for about 2 years at this point, but yeah, I think that'd be great.
Back and play it now, aren't you?
Yeah, maybe. I know they made like an expansion, I think, or like I don't think it had a sequel, but I think it had a little kind of DLC release. So I'll have to have a look. But yeah, that'd be a good one, because I'm really into my psychological thrillers and things like that as a genre. Vice versa though, anime to game. What have I really loved lately? I mean, we spoke about Solo Leveling earlier.
Yep.
So I won't take you on.
Doesn't necessarily have to go to RPG.
Oh, that's where my mind goes though, bro.
Yeah, I know. I was just
That's
trying to
where
make
my
things a
mind
bit easier
goes.
for you.
Because like this might sound like such a cop-out answer as well, but there's an anime called Shangri-La Frontier, which is an anime about a video game.
Fair enough.
Like Sword Art Online, it's about it's based slightly futuristic, so it's about VR like games, but it's not an isekai because no one's getting transported. They still exist in their world. It's just that they play games. And in Shangri-La Frontier, there's a game that's come out and it's like the pinnacle of VR technology. The way you experience VR games is supposed to be like cream of the crop. And the game just looks fun as hell to me. And it's got some really cool systems that I would love to actually play. So it'd be really cool to have that as like an MMO. I'd love to actually have VR technology to the point that all these anime do, because like they've got stuff that we just couldn't dream of. And I don't think I'd be alive to experience it. Yeah, I don't know, man, because like you see, like in Sword Art Online, you've got the VR headgear where it's the same sort of thing in Shangri-La Frontier. So it basically your whole body is what you use to play the VR games. You can just lie down, but you're experiencing the game as like full body.
Sounds
I'll
very
be dead
similar
before
to,
that kind of technology makes it into real life, which
Yeah,
is such a shame.
sounds very similar to Ready Player One if you've seen that film.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, similar thing. But I just don't think I'll be alive for that technology.
Well, you say that. When we were growing up, you were still on 8
True.
and 16-bit,
True.
16-bit and 32-bit games.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. That's so true. I think it's just when you don't know, it's just really hard to see a future that insanely different. But
When we
it's
started,
the same. It's the
when
same.
we started playing
Yeah.
RPGs and MMOs, we were
Yeah.
still using dial-up.
No,
man.
you're totally right, bro. You're totally right. It's the same.
But I think we are getting to a limit with the development and progression with games,
Yeah.
to the point where unless they are real, they cannot look any more real.
Yeah.
So instead of developing the game styles and the games themselves, they're going to have to start developing the technology behind it.
You're right. Yeah. Maybe it will happen in my lifetime. I might be too old to play by then. But if it's a VR system where I get to lie down and put a helmet on and I transport my body into the game, it don't matter how old I am, right? I could be 92 if I'm still alive and I'll be able to play. So who cares?
Just, I don't know why this memory's been triggered, and it was, I remember, I don't know if it was real. A part of me thinks it is, but a part of me really
Did you
hopes it
dream
wasn't.
this?
Huh?
Did you have a dream or something?
I mean, it's viable. I remember there being a controllerless thing for games like Call of Duty where I can't. This has got to be made up. I've got to be making this shit up because it's fucking stupid if it existed. That you put like a needle in your arm, and when you got shot, it took blood out of you.
What? No, there's
Yeah.
no way. Yeah, you definitely dreamt that, man.
Oh man,
There's not a chance, bro. You definitely dreamed that. I don't know
Yeah.
what you were smoking before you dreamed it, but you did.
yeah. Yes.
Imagine
Maybe
like
an April Fool's joke video or something. But
Oh, okay. That maybe. I could see it being like an April Fool's video that you've seen, but there's no way. Imagine the logistics of trying to pass enough laws to allow the game to take the damn blood from your body. There's no way, man.
what would you do with it afterwards?
Put it back in somehow. I don't know. Die. Yeah, just die. Jesus Christ.
We're passing new laws on assisted suicide here.
Jesus.
Well, this episode has taken a dark turn.
Yeah.
But no, I think it would be cool if we utilize the technology that started to build up through VR, through the Switch, the Wii, the Xbox Kinect of being able to move and interact with games.
I think, like you said, that's the direction it has to go in now, really.
Yeah. Just need those wrist straps. I don't need any Pokeballs flying through my TV screen. Yeah, I think I'm intrigued to see how much further Pokemon will develop in terms of that. Because short of turning it realistic like the Detective Pikachu movies, VR is the only other avenue they're going to go down.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think they'll keep developing the current kind of like 3D open world kind of market they're going for, because they are slowly getting better at that. So I think they'll keep developing in that direction. And then, yeah, I guess it will just be like what the next big leap will be when it becomes available.
We say that Nintendo has taken a page out of Apple's book.
Just keep making the same thing.
No, so they've watched the Nintendo Switch Direct, and they have made a massive song and dance about how the Switch 2 now has voice chat, video calling, and a camera. As
All
if
the
it's
things
a
that everyone else
brand new
always has.
technology, despite the fact it's been on place in consoles since
Everything
the
else.
PlayStation 2
Yeah,
generation,
else.
not genre.
Yeah.
So give it another 10, they might have their brand new, never been seen before VR headset.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I mean, speaking of Nintendo, I suppose another big franchise be Zelda.
Yeah,
I'm sure there are other mediums for Zelda,
there are manga adaptations for Zelda.
but there is the live action film coming up.
Oh, what is there? Did I miss this?
I believe so.
Is it a
Zelda
movie?
live action movie. And I believe, unless I am horribly mistaken, Link is being played by Mr. Tom Holland. That might just be because someone did a concept trailer with him
All right.
as Link, but that is what I've.
So it's not been like
Heard.
officially confirmed or anything.
But the live action has been
No,
confirmed.
the actor.
But I don't believe the actor has been confirmed.
Okay.
But
because the choice of Tom Holland feels like something someone would do for a meme after finding out that the film was being made.
just say that we also had Jack Black as Steve from Minecraft.
That's true.
Yeah. So I think we could probably start to wrap things up here. There's not much else we could probably talk. I mean, we could just talk for hours. I know that. I'm not questioning
I know what
that.
you mean. I know what you mean.
So I've got a few more questions for you. Other than Monster Hunter, what are you playing right now?
Only Monster Hunter. I literally haven't played anything but Monster Hunter Rise. Like, I can only play, bear in mind, the amount that I can play. I have to work all the time. I make content, so I can't just sit there playing games all day. But I've still managed to put like 130 hours into it so far. I'm like Hunter rank 160, which is high, but like nothing compared to some of the other people out there.
What are your two weapons of choice that you've got attached to you?
Like I said, because I've been playing for this franchise for so long, I tend to mix it up constantly. Right now, I'm playing a lot of Hunting Horn, and
that's a new one.
Yeah, Hunting Horn's great. This is definitely one of the best iterations of it, other than what was in World. But yeah, I really like Hunting Horn in this one. Also, Sword and Shield I've been playing a lot of, which I've never really played a lot of Sword and Shield before. But again, I think that's what, in general, I think Wilds. Wilds? I was mixing Wilds and Rise together.
And Wilds.
In general, Monster Hunter Wilds has one of the best combat systems, or like it's the best iteration of combat that we've seen across all the games, in my opinion. It's definitely the most fun for basically every weapon. The only thing I think is that I really don't think the bow guns are as good as they used to be, because they made too many changes to how things are with the focus system now. So I feel like the customization, especially for bow guns, isn't as fun anymore. You can't do some of the things you used to be able to do, but everything else is way better than they've ever been. Like when the game first came out, I was playing bow a lot, and I never play bow, but I probably put the most hours into bow.
I'm waiting for the Monster Hunter Wilds and Final Fantasy 14 crossover.
Yeah,
where we can get a Chocobo skin for our Sacred.
Oh, that'd be so cool. Yeah, I'm excited. I hope they do another collaboration the other way around as well, like how we got Rathlost into 14.
So which one would you like to see brought in for a mount fight? A fight that drops a mount.
14?
Yeah.
I think I don't know what they would do, because like there's so many to choose from. I don't know what they would choose, but personally, I would love, but so I know that they would pick something that would look good as a mount. That's the only issue.
Yeah.
But if I just wanted to see a monster in the game as like a EX trial type fight, it'd probably be Zinogre. Because I love Zinogre. He's such a badass. But having Zinogre in it and then being the mount reward, I don't know if he'd look great as a mount. I don't know. But yeah, Zinogre would be my choice. I love Zinogre.
And we touched on a couple whilst we were speaking today about, like, we've mentioned Golden Sun, we've mentioned Dark Cloud. What RPG game do you feel has like sort of gone under the radar, doesn't maybe get the attention that it deserves?
You mean like in recently,
old, doesn't matter.
I haven't played a lot in recent years, to be honest. None that I can think of. There was a game that I haven't actually played yet, but I did play the demo and I was really interested. And I think it's more of a Western RPG actually. It's called Sea of Stars, I think.
Yep. Sea of Stars. It's an indie game.
Yeah, and like the systems, like the style is very, the style has that traditional can't speak, traditional kind of JRPG look, but I know that the combat system itself is kind of different because it's like, it's turn-based, but the way you act is different. So I don't know, but I remember playing the demo and thinking it could be really interesting. So I think it did well, but I haven't heard like lots of buzz around it or anything. It came out quite a while ago now.
Yeah.
But
Came out a similar sort of time to, if I'm remembering correctly, Crosscode and all that.
right,
Came out around that sort of time.
yeah.
And one last question. If you could pick an NPC from any RPG or MMO to take out on a date, who are you choosing and where are you going? You Stola. Fair enough.
I'm too weak. Where am I going? I don't know, man, because she's blind, so there's not many places we can go. I guess you could see the ether in things, but I don't know. Yeah.
Just to caveat, this could be an activity in the world that they're from or a real life.
Oh, okay, so I'll go to Eorzea then. Date. I'd try and do something generally romantic, even for here, Probably a nice like picnic lunch or something out in a nice kind of, I see my first thoughts would be to go somewhere with a nice view, but again, she can't really see like normal people can see, so I'm gonna have to go all vibes. I'll learn to play a guitar or something. I'll bust out some tunes.
If you snap her up in a Realm Reborn
before the issues. Yeah, fair. I don't know. I'm probably not her type, but she's sure as hell mine.
Oh dear. So yeah, we've had some quite interesting answers to this question so far.
Fun question.
Yeah. So the first one, I think you'll appreciate this, is Rin opted to go surfing with a Lagiacrus.
Oh my god. Fair.
Yep. And our second guest, Guillaume, decided to utilize, wasn't a specific NPC, but just someone that was very battle worn and used them for combat knowledge and motion capture in his games.
Oh, fair enough. That's quite clever.
Which I thought was a brilliant answer.
Yeah, that's really clever.
Our third guest, which would probably be very similar to mine, Josephir, opted to take Balthea to the pub, and in his words, it's because that man has stories.
Fair enough, yeah. Nothing better than someone just telling stories over some pints.
But yeah, very interested to see where this question leads. I'm sure there's going to be some non-PG answers I'll have to edit out.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I tried to keep mine clean.
Yeah, unless there's anything else you can think of quickly.
No, it's been good.
Just looking forward to that first Pokemon VR game.
Yeah.
Walking around Kanto.
We'll keep dreaming.
The world will end if that happens.
Yeah. It would for me.
But yeah, if you would like to give a little spiel, let everyone know who you are, introduce yourself at the end of the episode.
Sure.
Done this a bit backwards.
No, that's all good.
Let them know where to find you, give them all your information, and as usual, all links will be in the descriptions below.
Cool. Yeah, so I am Grim Saber. You can also call me Grim. I make content based on manga, specifically the manga collecting niche. I make content on TikTok and YouTube primarily, but I'm also on Instagram. You can find basically all my short form content on there, my long form on YouTube. I tend to make content around manga collecting, but also I like to do comedy skits and just general sort of how-tos and helpful videos about manga. Yeah, that's pretty much me. You can find me on all those platforms.
I suppose there's one question. I mean, I know the answer to this, but we'll let everyone else know.
Sure.
What's your favorite Pokemon?
My favorite Pokemon is Gengar. Look at that boy. So beautiful.
But yeah.
I was going to put that back,
we'll
but
leave
knowing
that.
me, I'll drop it.
Yeah, don't drop it. Don't drop it. Dear. Right. And that's where we're going to leave this side quest. A whirlwind of anime nonsense, RPG chaos, and more Pokemon takes than anyone asked for. A massive thanks to Grim for crawling out of his manga cave long enough to join me at the tavern and proving once again that we both can't stay on topic to save our lives.
Nah.
If you've enjoyed this episode, do the usual bits. Like, comment, share it with your fellow adventurers, and maybe drop your most cursed Pokemon hot take in the comments. We'll regret reading them, and we'll argue with you about them till 3 a.m. in the morning. Do you think Pokemon is a JRPG or not? And the adventures don't stop there. Next time, we'll be joined by Genesis7, a content creator, RPG fanatic, and a man who's probably spent more time grinding stats than doing real-life side quests himself. So if you're ready for more nonsense and absolute zero progress towards our main story, you won't want to miss it. We've reached our save point. See you next time, and remember, every great adventure starts with a side quest.